Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be doing a review on this right here, the ElecFox KIVO20. And without further ado, let's get to the unboxing. So for those of you unfamiliar with what this is, I guess you'll just have to find out when I unbox this. And it comes with a very typical box, I would say. And let's try to get it up. There it is. So that was just a normal box. So this is the actual box, the KIVO20 by ElecFox. So it's fully aluminium. It's gasket mounted. It also has tri-mode connectivity. So you have your USB 2.4 GHz and Bluetooth, and you also have your VIA support. So this is a numpad. And there it is. So I got this for 200 ringgit, or that's 50 USD, give or take. And as mentioned, it's a numpad and it's actually fully aluminium. So let me just grab my scale so you guys can see how heavy this is. So let's see how heavy this is. Wow, so it's exactly 500 grams. So this is very heavy. Let's continue with this unboxing. So I'm going to be very careful here. So we have this here, and wow, that actually sounds amazing. So functionality first. It is a numpad with 4 macros that you can customize via VIA. It is tri-mode connected, and there's a switch here. So yeah, it doesn't come labeled on what is what. Let's see what accessories does it come with. I forgot to check on that. Okay, so it comes with its own cable, just a very ordinary cable, a switch puller. So I wasn't expecting that, but that's great. And surprisingly, we have a few extra gasket mounts over here, or I think these are for the feet. It might be for the feet. Yeah, so these are some spares for the feet. And you also get a very generous extra switch. So one thing about I didn't really like about Keychron was it didn't have any spare switches. So at least with this one, you know, it's not much, it's still just one, but you know, they did think of that. Yeah, let's continue. So you have your dongle holder. I really like that it has a dongle holder. USB-A. You have your USB-A over here. And I guess it's a bit unfortunate that it's not black. I got the midnight black version. I would have expected this to be black as well, but yeah, I have your tri-mode connector. It also has RGB, if you see. So if I turn off my lights a little bit, yeah, you can see RGB. It sounds amazing. I will have to really check what switches are these. Just turn it back off. Okay, it's really tight. I'll have to look that up later. But yeah, very loud and very talky. Okay, so you have your plastic. It's gonna get a lot of fingerprints though. I probably want to disassemble this. It's very likely that the screws are under here. So they are underneath. I'm not a big fan of this because if you put it back in, it's not going to be that sticky anymore, but that's fine. So let's see the inside. So yeah, you have your, it's wired here. So yeah, you have your ribbon cable over here. It does come with foam. So you can see here it comes with its foam. The battery is hiding behind it. So yeah, you have your gasket mounts over here. So it's just gasket mounts like this. I believe this is silicone. Please correct me if I'm mistaken. And you would just force them in over here. Okay, like that. I honestly think it's pretty good quality. I particularly like the switches though. Not sure why is it that talky. So now we'll be going through a switch breakdown. So this is the Kaihl Snowfall switch. It is a linear switch and it's a 5-pin switch. According to the spec sheet, it has an actuation force of about 45 grams and a bottom out force of about 50 to 55 grams. So it has a total travel of 3.6 millimeters. So that's a bit shorter than the standard 4. And in terms of materials, it has a PC top, a PA66 nylon bottom, and a typical palm stem. So it also comes with a diffuser. If you can see here, it comes with a diffuser. So this makes it good for RGB settings. And in terms of the sound profile, as what you heard just now, it's incredibly loud and quite talky, I would say. It's specifically talk. And if we want to look into the inner switch, so yeah, let's look at the, it does say it comes with factory tin lubing. I'm not sure if you can see that. I can see there is a little bit of lube. I think there is a very thin layer of lube. But it will probably be better if you hand lube them yourselves. So that's on the switch. But we're going to change this out. So I've been really excited to use these switches. So I bought a separate switch because I want to change this out. And what we're going to have, if you can, maybe you can guess it, maybe you definitely can't. It is these guys. They have a very striking look. Some people might have gotten it instantly, but for those, it is the Gateron Melodics. So this is a clicky switch. Now to the switch profile. So these are the Gateron Melodics. It is a clicky switch and it's also a 5-pin switch. So according to its spec sheet, it has a 50-gram actuation force, a 60-gram bottom out force, a total travel of 4 millimeters, and in terms of material, it has a PC top, a nylon bottom, and a palm stem. And it does come with factory lubing. So if I were to open this up, and I got this for about 2 ringgit 70 cents a piece. It's quite expensive, I would say, and in USD terms that would be about 67 or 68 cents a piece. And let's just observe the factory lube. So you can see there's a little bit of factory lube on the stem, almost no lube on the back side here. And if I go back here, there's lube primarily inside this canyon, I would say. Okay, so it's a very unique switch because it also uses the leaf spring system to do your clicky sounds. So you can see here, you have at the very back, it's also transparent housing at the top, so that makes it a candidate for RGB if you are a fan of that. But otherwise, let's try to hear how it sounds. Compared to your Kaihl Snowfall. So in terms of the sound, the Gateron Melodics, they're of course a clicky, but they're a very soft type of clicky. It's not very loud. And to me, what it sounds like is if you've ever had static discharge, so when you're walking with your friend and you stored some static electricity and you guys happen to be very close to each other, and then zap, you get that static electricity. That's what it sounds like to me. These Kaihl switches are extremely hard to remove for whatever reason. I think I'm just going to do a little bit of modding. So specifically, I want to do the force break mod. I actually have some foam. So usually we would just use like masking tape or something like that, but I had this down my grocery store. So one thing you have to be careful. The reason why it's so difficult to put this in is if you notice the LEDs, normally your LEDs are facing south, so this one they're facing east. So you have to orient your switches the right way. The reason why it was so difficult to take it out just now was because I was trying to force it out from the other direction. So if I were to put it back in, something like this, going smoothly. Okay. And if I want to take it out, just instead of trying to pull it from here, do it from here. Okay, so it comes out easily. So that's a oversight on my part. Okay, so let's do like the RGB test. Very, very nice RGB. And let's put the caps back together. Okay, so now for the sound test. Yeah, so I should probably explain why I bought my ElecFox KIVO. So I am buying my first aluminium keyboard. It's a 75% board. I'm not going to go deeper on that. You'll have to wait until it comes. I work a full-time job. I'm an engineer. So I do a lot of number crunching. And a numpad to me is a must. It's mandatory. So I don't really want to buy another 96% layout because it's very big. And with a separate numpad, what I can do now is I can swap out 75% boards in the future when something fancies my interest, but I won't touch my numpad ever again. I just want something that's functional, also aluminium, and it also gives me some options, like I can take my mouse, put my numpad here and my mouse here, and I have my keyboard here, so I can just play around, and when I want to do any number crunching, I just move it here. Or if I'm a bit more ambitious, I can try to move it to my left hand side of my keyboard, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, that's the reason why I got this KIVO. Moving on to my final thoughts. The pluses. I think this is a really nice numpad for the price that you're paying, 200 ringgit. It's really well built, extremely heavy, 500 grams. And it comes with all of the functionalities that you want. You have tri-mode connection, you have even a USB holder. It has RGB, as we just went through just now, and it also comes with 4 extra macro switches that you can program via VIA. So I think that's a really nice package that you're getting from this. Moving on to my dislikes. One of my primary dislikes is this sticky feet, I would say. I don't like that the screws are hiding behind these feet. To be frank, I would prefer it to be a bit quote-unquote uglier if you had like 4 screws here. That's my personal opinion, but I don't really mind the back looking a bit cluttered. That's not an issue to me. So the fact that I have to get this out and, you know, stick them back, it's not nice for me. Another one is, why is this white when I have the black version? I would have expected this to be you know, black. You know, I might even take this out and hide it somewhere because it's just that distracting. Another thing about this, I'm not a big fan of like the keycaps. I would rather it be fully black, or at the very least this should be black or white. The keycaps do feel a bit thin, I would say. They don't feel very high quality, and that is something that I will be replacing. I'll be replacing the keycaps with something else of my preference. And the last one that I want to talk about is these switches are very hard to get out. So it's not that hard now, but just now when I was trying to take out the Kaihl Snowfall, I'm not sure if it's the Snowfall being a bit too large, or I just loosened them up a bit after all of that meddling. But that's something I want to point out, that it can be quite tough. That's all. I do have a very small bonus for you guys that are interested in the Gateron Melodics. I did sound tests on my V5 Max, so enjoy the sound test, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.